So, let's talk about runes in No Rest for the Wicked. Firstly, let's get to Eleanor in the main city located here. If you're not seeing her like I am, it's because I've reconstructed her shop. Early game, you will probably see her near a tent, like this. Now, she's going to be an NPC who will help you extract and add runes to your weapons. She also sells the runes that you'll probably use the most, the buff runes. So how does this work? To add or extract runes, you talk to her and choose the rune option in her shop. Here you can choose a weapon and then you can either add runes depending on how many rune slots the weapon has available, or you can extract one rune. You cannot extract more than just one rune, as when you extract the rune, the weapon will be destroyed in the process. If the weapon is common grade, it has 4 rune slots, but enchanted weapons have only 2 slots. When you enchant a common weapon, it loses 2 of its last slots, and if there were any runes on them, they will also be lost. So be careful when you enchant weapons that have your favorite runes on them. You can only use runes on weapons, and all the weapons in the game, either crafted or found as loot, come with at least 1 rune of their own, except for the torch. Now, the legendary weapons have 4 runes, most of them, but you cannot extract them. They are pre-built into them. So, if you want to create different builds around specific rune skills, it will only work with common and enchanted weapons. Still, there are a few legendary weapons that have 1 or more rune slots, but they are very rare. Now let's talk about the buff runes that you can find in Eleanor's shop. We will start with Pulse of Health. This rune gives you a plus 15 to your health points for 60 seconds. It basically increases your max health. Then we have Channel. This rune lets you sacrifice health for focus. Focus is basically the mana in this game, it lets you use skills. The Channel rune gives you 50 focus on use. Next to the Channel rune we have the Heal Aura rune. This is the rune that heals you for 25 hit points. One thing to note is that if you have healing effects increased stat on your items, it can heal you even more. Next we have the Repair rune. That does exactly as it says, it repairs all of your equipped gear. You can use the blacksmith to repair your gear, but if you are on the field and you want an immediate repair, this rune comes in handy, especially if you use torches. Torches burn with time and consume their own durability. Having a repair rune can fully repair them. If you also have an efficient way to gain focus, the repair rune is also an infinite way to repair weapons without using any money. Next we have the Return rune. This will teleport you to the main city's portal gate. It will always teleport you to the city no matter what was the last portal you touch. Okay, now on to the next one. We have the Damage Surge rune. For me, this is the most used rune in the entire game. It is basically increasing your overall damage for 60 seconds. And I recommend that any build you use have this rune, as not only will it increase your base damage, but also the other runes damage. Next we have the Focus Hollow rune. This one increases your maximum focus for 60 seconds. Then we have the Poise shield. This rune increases your maximum poise for 60 seconds. Next to the Poise shield we have the Stamina Wellspring rune. That will increase your maximum stamina again for 60 seconds. Now the next 4 runes will be the Element Enchantment. We have the Heat Enchantment, Cold Enchantment, Plague Enchantment, and Electric Enchantment. These enchantments give your weapon a boost of elemental damage for 60 seconds. Now, playing the game so far, I noticed that the heat and plague element do more damage over time. The electric element staggers enemies for a bit, and the most overpowered element seems to be the cold, as it will literally freeze enemies in place. Another thing to know about this enchantment is that you can actually combine them, having ice together with fire, or electricity with plague, and so on. Another thing I noticed, and this is very important to know, is that these elements do not give you more damage to the runes, just your basic weapon attacks. Okay, let's move on to the last 3 runes in the shop. We have the Blink rune. This rune lets you teleport across the map at ease. It's a very good for any build as long as you have focus to use it. Then we have the Scream rune. This is an amazing rune to change the flow of battle. It knocks back enemies, giving you time to either heal or use high damage but slow attacks. It also pushes enemies. There are a lot of situations where you can just push enemies off cliffs instead of just fighting them. And now the final rune in the shop, we have the Thorns rune. A rune that gives you a way to deal damage when you take damage. Basically, when you are hit, you can return a bit of the damage back to the enemy that hit you. A thing to know is that this is not damage reflect, but damage on damage taken. Damage reflect is a different stat. For example, if you use shield block, this will not work, only when you are hit directly. Now, for the rest of the runes in the game, you can find them from weapons throughout your journey. Most runes will be locked on specific weapons, like for example, a lightning assault can be found on a two-handed weapon, and if extracted, it can only go on other two-handed weapons. Same with the runes that you get from staffs, for example, they can only be placed on other staffs, and so on. Now, there are a few exceptions, like the throwing runes. These, in my opinion, are the most overpowered runes in the entire game. They basically take your weapon and throw it. The higher the attack of the weapon is, the more damage you will do. I've also noticed that the weight of your weapon also contributes to the damage by a small amount. These runes can go into any weapon. Let's start with the first throw rune. You can find this rune from the Hunter's Axe, and the axe you can buy from the blacksmith. This is the basic throw rune. The next ones are the element throws, and these runes you can only find from weapons that are either drops from enemies or random chests around the world. You can also find these runes directly from the chest rewards in the Crucible after you beat the final boss. There you have 100 chance to get a random rune. Now I'm going to showcase each one of them individually. The Fire Throw rune you can get from the Climber's Peak. The Ice Throw rune you can get from the Risen Blade. The Plague Throw rune you can find from Siren's Queenhorn. And the Electric Throw rune you can get from the Demon's Key. And that's pretty much it. I hope we will see more weapons and more runes in the upcoming patches. I'm also hoping that we will get more detailed descriptions on the runes. The game is still in early access and things might change with future patches. If you like this video, consider subscribing, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I wish you a wicked journey.